It appears as if he might be falling into one of those traps that might have been talked about for about as long as he's been in football, the last 50 years. And that's not an exaggeration, right? The trap that's always talked about is if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. Mack Brown spoke to the media today. It was kind of his preseason, end of preseason, start of the season, game day press conference. Now 6 days away from their opener at Minnesota, and he let the public know that he plans on playing two quarterbacks.
Depending on how the game goes, we would like to play two quarterbacks, and we'd like to do it for the season. And the offensive staff has done a really good job. Connor and Max are different. They're the same in some ways, but they're different in others. And the offensive staff has done a really good job of blending the line with what both of them do best. So I feel really good going into the game about the plan for both of those, because they've tailored it to where the quarterback that's in the game will have things that he can do best without question. But I do see scenarios where both play.
I'm going to get ahead of this a little bit and say I don't believe him. I think he is still potentially playing mind games with Minnesota you're not going to give us a depth chart. We're going to try to throw every different kind of brain teaser at you. Okay, so I'm putting me on the record as saying I think at the latest week 2 they're going to have a quarterback, even though he just said he wants to play two throughout the entire season.
You think it was a workaround saying, or we want to, as in, hey, we want to be up by 21 points in the fourth quarter, and we're going to put the second guy in there. That's what we want to have happen, right?
If he were under oath, then the want would be the word there. He's like, I think if the court reporter would read back my comments, you would see I did not perjure myself.
See?
If he follows through on it, the spirit of what he said, not the legal proceedings. If he's actually saying he wants to play both of these guys at quarterback in every game this season, I can't emphasize this enough. I hate that decision. If you can win with both, pick one. Or else you're doing a disservice to both. Quarterback is a rhythm position, right? You get into a rhythm by being in the game, going out there every drive. It's also a confidence position. More importantly, it's a confidence position. And what I mean by that is it only takes a millisecond. My coaches used to call it a beat because it was something significantly less than even half or a quarter of a second. You got to take a beat, right? Oh, you were a beat late. It's a blink. It's a snap of your fingers. That's the hesitation that is the difference between fitting it into a small window, big play, and the ball getting tipped, potentially intercepted, definitely incomplete. And the hesitation can come from, if I throw an interception, they're going to give him the next drive. So, can't throw it. Just that little, I got to be a little bit extra careful. Now you're making mistakes. And even if they're the coolest guys in the world, if Connor Harrell and Max Johnson are just the best of friends, if they are so cool with each other, they root for each other's success, they both want to be on the field. I don't know if people recognize this. Just to choose to be a quarterback, you have an ego. There are certain parts of sports that you almost need an ego. Think about it. Even if you started in 3rd grade playing football, coach said, what position do you play? You raise your hand and say, I play the position that touches the ball every single play and has the entire game on my shoulders. That takes a lot of hey, I think pretty highly of myself as an athlete. No one wants to say it, right? Always team first, team always, team only. But no, that's what they do. It's what the position is. Mess with their confidence by saying, we like you, but we like him as much. That's not how it works. And then the last part of it, and this is where I think you get in trouble. You can't play quarterback harder. Right? It's why quarterback is different. I think it's fine to rotate running backs. I think it's fine to rotate linebackers. I think it's fine to rotate just about any other position on the field if you think you have two guys that are very good, because it'll keep them fresh. And if they get frustrated with their playing time, they go out there, they can use that anger to play harder. If you're a running back and you think you should be getting 20 carries, but you're getting 10 in a timeshare, well, guess what? When you get that ball, you're going to lower the boom on somebody because you can do that harder. Linebackers. If you're a linebacker, you're on the field, and you're upset you're not out there more, somebody's getting their head taken off.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback. You go out there, you're upset you're only getting every other series, or you're upset that they just gave the 2-minute drill to the other guy, or you're upset that you drove them from your own 20 down to the 4, and then they put in the other quarterback for a running play, and he gets the touchdown. You're mad about that. You go out there, you want to play harder. There's nothing. You can't. It doesn't make you better to be angry as a quarterback. It can make you better just about any other position. Quarterback, you're out there, you're tense, you're Now you're just seeing red and not seeing the field. Quarterback is a different position, right? It's sometimes it's tough for coaches to see that because they put these absolutes together. Competition is good for everyone. Iron sharpens iron. We want competition at every position, right? They get it stenciled onto the wall of the weight room, right next to be the hammer, not the nail, or what? Right, right.
I love that one.
Right next to 1% better every day, right? And then it's competition makes everyone better. Yes, I get it, and it's true to an extent at quarterback, but in a game, they need confidence, they need ego, they need to be able to play free, and they need to be calm. Here's what I'll say. Very rarely through sports history has this worked. The few times it has, it's been like a wildcat situation, right? I don't think that's what, like, if you had a quarterback that was a bad passer, that wouldn't throw the ball, and you put him in and ran the old Ricky Williams, Ronnie Brown Dolphins playbook, or it was, I remember Darren McFadden getting a lot of direct snaps at Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just putting in like a running back for short, that's fine. A quarterback can understand that.
That's a trick play.
Yeah, you're on the sideline going, yeah, this is circus stuff. This isn't them saying I'm not the best quarterback for this job. They're saying we don't want a quarterback on the field for this play. The problem with Connor Harrell in that situation is if you put him in as the running quarterback, he's too good of a passer. Chip Lindsey's going to go, hey, every time we put him out there, they know we're going to run the ball. Let's chuck one deep. Before you know it, you have Max Johnson in there running the offense. You have Connor Harrell in there running the offense. They're both just running the offense. I do not like this one bit for UNC, unless my earlier hypothesis is correct and Mack Brown isn't actually all bought in on this. He's just making Minnesota think about something.
Might be.
Because without naming a starter, at least going into the first series, Minnesota is going to be like, who's it going to be? Which guy is it going to be? Now that he said we want to play them both, you might get the rest of the game then going, when are they going to put in the other guy? Mm-hmm. We need to stay ready for the other guy. We either need to stay ready for the runner or need to stay better for the pocket passer.
I said this yesterday when I was filling in for Adam Gold. I said, whomever they choose, I hope they're successful from the get-go, because the last thing they need to do is have constant questions of, well, what about the other guy?
Yes.
What about the other guy?
Exactly. And even when you're, like, honestly, if the guy that's on the bench has those questions, I hate to say it, you can't do that much damage to the team when you're not in the game. It's the one that's on the field you want to not have questions. And if they're having questions like, if we don't score on this drive, am I going to come back in the game? Oh, I need to make a big play, or else they're going to put him in. And you also don't want to come in like super scripted. You're going to get the first series, you're going to get the second series, you're going to get the second quarter, you're going to get the third quarter, because then you get a hot hand situation and you're like, well, never mind. Now people are crushed. Quarterback is different. I can only say it in so many ways. It's not like, hey, we're going to rotate in defensive ends because we have two guys we like. It's different.